Hey everyone and welcome back. Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to make you aware about another superpower we have using the document object model, and that is that we can actually change or set the attribute of an element. So some elements have additional information. Okay, so for example, in HTML, if you create a link using anchor tags, you want to sort of give the link more information. Where is it a link to? So for example, a href. So for example, if I was to create an anchor tag, opening and closing anchor tag, and I write Google, this isn't actually going to link to Google, okay? For obvious reasons, I've just wrote Google inside of the anchor tags. So if I save and refresh, if I click Google, well I can't actually click on it. So certain elements in HTML require additional information. So for example, a link will require a href. Where do you want me to link to? An image will require a source. What is the image of? There's no point having just an image tag. You also need to provide additional information. So there are certain elements in JavaScript that have basically additional information, okay? Whether it is a CSS styling, an attribute like a href, an attribute like a source, etc. I wrote style twice, apologies. But essentially, yes, there are certain elements that require additional information. Where does a link go to? What is the picture, the image of, etc. So you've seen this before. So for example, you can create an anchor tag for Google, and maybe you might provide a href. So where is this linking to? And you could say https google.com, okay? Also, I like to always use target underscore blank, so that way when you click on the link, it opens up in a new tab. So if I just save and refresh, I already have Google open, but if I click it again, we are going to load Google. Okay, so that is a link that has an attribute, a href, a link to somewhere. But what we can do is we can actually change the href if we want it, because there's an inbuilt method in JavaScript where you can set an attribute. So the set attribute method essentially is expecting to receive two arguments passed in. First of all, the name, okay, so what is it you're looking to change? Is it, for example, the source of an image? Is it, for example, a href? And then the next thing you need to pass in is the new value. So for example, if you were to call the setAttribute method on an element, in this case, for example, an anchor tag, what you could do is set the attribute, tell the inbuilt method in JavaScript that you want to change the href, and then provide it with a new string. Okay, so you can use this to change, as I say, a style, a href for a hyperlink, a source, okay, for a video or an image, etc. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do that. So basically our href here, we could give it an ID. So we'll say ID is equal to, we'll say our link, okay, or search link, because this is about a search engine. So we'll say search link. So what I'll do now is I will use the document object model to grab that link. I'll say document.getElementById. And what we want to do, we want to pass in the ID there, and we called it search link, okay? Search link. Probably not a great name. And then what I want to do is I want to just basically create a variable. Say let link be equal to document.getElementById. You could also do query selector and just query for an anchor tag. You could do that as well. So what we can do now is just console.log out the link. Just want to make sure that I have that. So if I save and refresh, we see here we have our hyperlink. Okay, that's awesome. But what I want to do now is I actually want to change the href. So how do we do that? Well, on our link, let's use dot notation and call or invoke the setAttribute method. So what do we want to do? Well, the first thing is we have to let this method know what we're changing, and we want to change the href. And then the next thing we need to do is basically say, okay, what are we changing the value to? There's this other search engine I found called DuckDuckGo. I've never actually used them, but what we're going to do is we're just actually going to change the hyperlink. So instead, what we'll do inside of a string is we'll say HTTPS and then paste in DuckDuckGo. Okay, I've really messed that up. Let me try that again. I'm in need of a coffee. Okay, awesome. So now, if I save and refresh, Let me just delete both of that. Well, close down, not delete. If I now save and refresh, if I click on the link, we actually go to DuckDuckGo. And that is because what happened was, even though initially our anchor tag had a href to Google, inside of our script file, what we did was we got the link, we stored it in a variable called link, and we called or invoked the setAttribute method. We were looking to change the href, the hyperlink, and this is the new value that we passed in. Okay, that's awesome. I'll see you in the next tutorial.